Welcome. In front of me I have the POCO M8 Pro, and in this video I'm just gonna show you a couple tweaks, tricks you can do on this device. So let's just get straight into this. We're gonna begin by opening up our settings and going down the list of areas where I find interesting things, or also looking for them partially. So we can start off with the notification and status bar right here. And here we have things like notification style, which doesn't differ too much, but the one that is selected right now gives you a little bit kind of more compact notifications. And let's see if this will apply automatically. It does. So you can pay attention, for instance, to the text that is the secondary one. So if I change it, it actually shows, for instance, 2 lines right here of text. So it does expand it a little bit more. For clarity, the first one will be a little bit better, the classic one, but for compactness and just minimalism, the Android one will be better. Now, additionally, you have things like custom icon displays. So this refers to these ones right here. Though if I remember correctly, Xiaomi isn't the best one, and just allowing you to limit what you can see right here. You do have some options, so we can turn off things like do not disturb mode, hotspots, location, Bluetooth. Bluetooth is one that I like to disable always. And we are missing things like, for instance, the SIM, the Wi-Fi, or mobile network, or mobile connection. So you can't really get that, super clean look in your status bar. Let's be honest, most of us nowadays live in areas where we have cellular connection, pretty good one, so seeing those bars is kind of freaking useless at this point. And same thing goes for Wi-Fi. I don't care to see it. I can just do this to know that I have Wi-Fi if I'm having problems. Otherwise, I don't really give two shits. If I'm at home, I know I should be connected. The only time I'll ever need to check this is obviously when my network is acting up. So I find this to be kind of useless, and unfortunately here you can only turn off some of the things, not everything. Another one that you can do is number of notification icons, which is pretty limited right now, set to 1. You can expand it to 3 if you want, so you can see we have more visible now. Or you can just completely hide them away for that clean look. Additionally, we have things like edit carrier name in here. If you want to edit that when you have a SIM card, you can change it to say whatever you want. Or if you keep it turned off, it actually just won't tell you any kind of name. It's just gonna show you reception, and that's it. Which, again, as you can probably gather, I am going for that more clean look, so I wouldn't be changing that. But obviously, if you want to have some custom name there, you can go right for it. Now, you can check out other options in here as well. We have things like hiding notch if you're interested in that, and so on. So I don't really want to go into those. Those are just meh. Anyway, continuing on, we have things like home screen. And in here, one of the first things is the home screen mode. We have right now up drawer, but you can change it to classic if you want to. And let me quickly check. This is okay. So this is the kind of a nice feature right here. While we're talking on the drawer, you can see at the very top we have all, communication, entertainment, photography, and so on. And these are categories for applications to go into. They get automatically sorted, but you can obviously change this yourself if you want to. And I personally really like this. I use a third-party launcher on my personal phone specifically for the reason of having categories of applications. And just to showcase this, how it looks like on my end. So you can see right here, so I can just swipe from my side and have categories right here. So it's a little bit different than what we have right here, a little bit cleaner with the icons. Here, unfortunately, you don't have the ability to add icons as a way, unless... I'm actually gonna quickly check this. Let's see if I do edit. We're gonna create a custom one. We should be able to do. Where the hell is it? Oh, there we go. Manage app categories, custom. Let's add one. Enter category name. Can I do, for instance, emojis? Indeed I can. Okay, so if you can do emojis, that means that you can set other looking, basically something equivalent to an icon. And you can sort applications into there manually. You also have the edit if you want to. And therefore you can have basically nice categorized menu with one that doesn't actually take as much space as this one. Because let's be honest, scrolling through this is kind of pointless if it's not, you know, literally a click away to make it easier to navigate through. And you can obviously swipe to the sides as well if you want to. I personally do like the inclusion of categories, so I highly recommend maybe trying this out, setting it up, and once you do, it's honestly something that for me is a must. I hate the idea of like having all applications alphabetically in here and all that, so categories are super. Anyway, let's continue on back to the here, which is the home screen. Moving on, we can also disable things like Google Discovery. This is the Google Discovery if you care about this. You can keep it. Obviously, if you don't, you can just straight up get rid of it or change it to upvote. Let's see what that is actually. Oh, so upvote is basically the equivalent of... Actually, I don't even know what to compare it to. On first glance, with this, kind of looks like the Apple kind of page with applications, but we do have news and we have a bunch of other information right here as well. It could be a unique thing if you're into this, having this kind of multiple things visible at a glance with scrollable, that is scrollable. Now, going back in here, anything else that I would want to show? Yep, there is system navigation. So here we have right now buttons. We also have the gestures options as well, and we can enable this. Another thing in here, once you enable this, you can set buttons or gestures throughout the setup process, but what you don't get there when you select one of those is the additional options that you have right here. And as an example, one of those is hide full screen indicator, which is this bar right here. Come on, no, stop it. Oh, for God's sakes. Do I seriously have to go through this? There we go. So you can get rid of this bar at the bottom by just toggling this on. Nope, and it's gone. I do want to quickly check one thing. Okay, so we don't have... Oh no, we do have circle to search. Not sure why I didn't want to launch the first time. Okay, this seems to be working horrifically. Okay, wow, that is... How long do you need to hold this? Okay, tapping on it doesn't seem to do anything. Is it just the page? No, it just works this freaking badly. Okay, just wanted to make sure because just to give you an example how it normally should work. Here is mine. I'm gonna press now. Activate it. Activate it. Activate it. This is horrific. Anyway, you can use this if you want to. Now, the reason I'm kind of focusing on this a little bit, probably too much, is because if we go back to the home screen right here, gestures, and turn this on, I think this completely removes the ability for you to use the circle to search. Yep, you can see it's just now completely not trying to launch itself. Yep, so with the gesture bar turned off, circle to search is completely unavailable, which is normal thing to see. There has been only one manufacturer, which I don't recall which one, that actually allowed you to use circle to search without the indicator, which is a logical thing to do. It's not like you need to see the freaking thing to know that you're supposed to press at the bottom of the screen to activate it. So it's absolutely fucking stupid that it gets hidden and or turned off more like when you have gestures and don't have the bar. But just know that if you rely on circle to search, you do need to have that enabled. Other than that, if you don't care for circle to search, which at least on this device works pretty badly, at least in activation, then you can, if you rely on that, maybe use buttons, as buttons does make it much easier to activate this. As you can see, all right, it's the buttons, so it's much more reliable now. You can see, compared to gestures, which, all right, it's now again hidden. Oh, okay, this time it activated. Oh, did it fix itself? Okay, it looks like it's working now. Let's go. But if I turned it off, obviously it's not. So yeah, now actually talking about circle to search as the next thing, it's a very misleading name considering you don't circle to search to activate it. You actually have to hold the bar right here to activate it, or the home button if you use buttons. And when it activates, so you have this little overlay, you can move it around, which will become sometimes important, because if you try to sometimes select something like the text right here, the little search bar kind of gets in the way, so sometimes it might be easier just to flip it up. So anyway, once you have it enabled, you can do things like, for instance, select text from something that usually wouldn't allow you to select text, even images. It automatically detects text in images. It allows you to select images themselves as well, and then does a Google search in those to find whatever is relevant to whatever you have right now visible, which additionally can be used with camera. If I open it up as an example, let's just bring up a pretty good option right here. So we have Honor Supercharger wireless charger that is max like 100 watts, and I'm gonna move it a little bit like so you can see it a bit better, and I'm gonna hold the button now. Should activate it. Okay, of course it's not working now that I need it. Let's try it. Come on. Oh, I'm gonna freaking break this screen. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna have to do this stupid bullshit because this trash doesn't want to actually do what it's supposed to do. Awesome. Not the best kind of introduction to a video. There we go. Now it freaking activates. So for some stupid reason you can't use it in Photos app, which makes you do additional step to use the goddamn feature. Now once you actually have a photo, you can click on it. As you can see, it automatically also has a smart way of detecting what you're trying to select, and from there automatically tells me what that is, like I couldn't read. But additionally, if you start scrolling, it gives you, for instance, places where you can buy this, and it just gives you prices, and just shows you also how it looks like, as these are images. It's just generally a search. So for instance, we go to product, we can do visual matches, and there you go. So it's very versatile, and you can select things that don't usually have name to it, like this one, and do search. So as an example, maybe you see a car somewhere, right? Some very weird looking one that has badge that you don't recognize, no, for instance, model at the back of it, right? You can just whip out a camera, capture a photo, or you should usually be able to do the circle to search without needing to take a photo. But from there, it will automatically see it and give you the result of it with an actual name of it, which is pretty handy. So anyway, let's move back into the settings and move forward. So next we have display and brightness, and then here we have light and dark mode as a first option. Not really much of a tweak, but there is also dark mode options, which allows you to set it up for individual applications. So dark mode will only work for specific applications, while the rest of it will be in light mode, or vice versa, depending on how you set it up. And we also should have something that we don't, which is a schedule. And Xiaomi, not the best kind of experience right here for limiting options that are default in Android. Anyway, let's just continue on. So next we have color scheme. This is just the saturation of your display, and we have a couple modes. We have the Vivid, Standard, Original, Color Pro, and Advanced Settings, which actually has more options if you click on the arrow. So we have P3 and sRGB, which should be a bit more color accurate. I don't have any tools to check that, so I won't be vouching for any of this, but you can see when it comes down to it, there is a little bit of a difference. I did say standard, I meant saturated, sorry. So you can see that weirdly enough, vivid right here is not actually like completely overcooked as usually they are, and saturated is the one that is just a little bit overdone. So vivid is closer to what you would expect from a tone, like neutral kind of toned color, and even original color pro, which would be considered the more toned down, is close to it. I mean, there is a difference you can clearly see, and the pinkish colors and like reddish tones that it switches a bit from here to here bit. Let's see, advanced. So the P3, I think it's selected, right? No, sRGB, which is now selected, is a bit more saturated. Now you can just choose whichever one you want, whichever one you prefer. If you like the saturated, that's fine, go for it. I do also want to add that scrolling down we have the color temperature. This just adds a tint to the entire display. So you can, if I start switching it, these are like egregiously overdone, right? But just to show this as an example, I can obviously do it just subtly. You don't have to move it all the way out, and you can pick obviously cool, warm, and default tones right here, and this just basically adds that specified tint of a color to the entire display and everything around. Now this will, I believe, gets disabled if you enable feature, which I don't really see right here. So this is extra brightness, automatic brightness. Okay, so it seems like there is no feature to automatically match the color tint of the display. Sometimes if you do have that, this will lock away the color temperature right here for you if you enable that feature, as obviously that feature would control the tint automatically, so you wouldn't be able to pick it yourself. Anyway, let's continue on, and moving further down we have personalization, and this is just a general section where you can customize the look of your device, and we have a bunch of options right here. I like this considering it's just all neatly organized in one place. So we can do things like a lock style, which takes me somewhere else. So we do have some nice options right here. I have to say these are pretty clean, nice looking, ones that I wouldn't mind using myself. And on top of that, you can actually customize them. So as an example, if the text right here isn't necessarily your cup of tea in terms of colors, we can do right here fonts and change it to something else. Can I change also the other color right here? Oh, there we go, secondary. So I could secondary, and what would look good? Nope. There we go. You know what? That's fine. So there we go. We can now apply it, and we can set it to both. And now this only talks about this, obviously, wallpaper. I'm on selected screen lock only. Then we have things like always on displays, which again you can customize, and obviously you can turn it on from here. Display items for 10 seconds after tapping. Now there's a bit of an annoyance. Xiaomi doesn't allow you to set it permanently on. So when you have this enabled and you lock the device, you do need to do this to actually wake up and have this visible for a brief moment, and after 10 seconds it does disappear, so you have to tap it again. I don't know why it's like this, or why you can't keep it permanently on. It literally is called always on display. It's always on display that isn't always on. It's kind of counterintuitive to the effing name of it. So 10 seconds on display would be more accurate name, considering that's how long you can have it. But in any case, you can customize it in here, and you have some options. For instance, for the clocks, if you have multiple different clocks, you can add things like backgrounds right here, and so on. So it's a pretty neat thing that you can just do, customize these things to your hard content. And I believe you can even add your own pictures if you want to use those as always on display. So yeah. Now moving on, we have icons. Now if you download more icons, they will show up in here as well, or more like icon packs. And right here we can change the size of them, right, and also the color. Though actually I don't see the option to change the icon packs. Where the hell is it? Or you can't in here? Yeah, it looks like you might not be able to change the icon packs directly in here. So sorry for misleading. Anyway, next we have fonts. Now these should show up in here as well once you download more. And we have a couple options as well. Moving on, fingerprint. This obviously applies only if you're using fingerprint as an unlock method. I'm going to select cancel. I do also want to add one more thing. So in here you do have the option to, or should have an option to turn it off. Yep, there we go, fingerprint animation. So you can get rid of it. But this is going to be using, I'll just quickly check. Okay. Yep, so you can see when I tap on it, it lights the hell up. So this will matter considering if you want to get rid of this light, you can't. Even if you turn off the animation, this doesn't change it, as the way the sensor sees your fingers by illuminating it with light, considering you're just kind of like covering it. So you can't really do it. Now, when it comes onto some other devices that don't have this kind of light, as an example, something like a Samsung right here. So just to showcase, if I press on it, you can see it just fails to unlock my finger, but there's no light. The reason for that is Samsung, as I think only phone manufacturer, uses ultrasonic sensor opposed to the light-based one that is right here. So they work fundamentally in different ways. One that doesn't require Samsung to illuminate it with light, as it's doing it with sound instead. So most phones will have what we have right here, which means that if you just miss by a slither the sensor at night, you're getting flashbanged at it, as this light is pretty damn bright. Anyway, we also have some other things like wallpaper carousel. This might be something that you wanted to turn off. It's pretty awful in my opinion, and I see no justifiable reason, only like headaches, when I have a random wallpaper of some woman and then I'll need to explain to my significant other that no, this was just a random wallpaper of some lady exercising. I didn't set that up as a wallpaper deliberately. So yeah, I personally just don't want to screw with this. I would turn that off altogether. There we go. And we have other things like AI dynamic wallpaper, because everything nowadays have to have AI, even though literally people at this point are just sick of this shit and would love nothing more to not see this piece of shit listed everywhere. It's like it's the most at this point annoying word that I can hear. So anyway, I'm not even going to talk about this. There's no point divulging any attention to bullshit AI. And under additional settings, should have some other things. So we have some accessibility like clarity mode. So you can change the size of the fonts and, oh no wait, we have text and then fonts right here. Anything else in here? Floating window might be interesting. So can I actually pull this out? It's enabled by default, but I don't see it. Yeah, I don't freaking see it anywhere. So technically we do have oh, it is turned off. Okay, that makes sense. For some reason the first page I was looking at it and it looked like it was on. So anyways, we can go through here, turn that on, and oh, there we go, it's right over here. Now we can move this around. At least we should be able to. Ah, there we go. So you have to hold it for a bit longer. As you can see, when you do, it kind of extends, and now I can just shift it, for instance, to another side, drop it, and now I can access it from here. Now, apart from having this right here, we can do some nice things like, for instance, opening it up applications and pop-up windows, like so, which I can resize. I can also move to the side right here, to be kind of like a, bit of an up head And we can actually have multiple different applications open at the same time. So you can see now we have 2 different apps open at the same time, at least in this kind of view. And anyway, we can just get rid of them. So it gives you a nice versatility in terms of like just multitasking. But on top of that, if you interact with one of those windows at the 3 dots right here, you have more options. So we can easily split screen. So whatever application will be open as a full screen, if you split screen the other one in a pop-up view, it will just obviously go depending on how you organize them. Like I wanted this to go on the top. Obviously, settings will go to the bottom. We can also switch that up, I believe. There we go. So we should be able to then flip it like so. And yeah, it's pretty nice in terms of multitasking. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we have the option to save this. Some devices allow us to save these app combinations. Here it doesn't look like we can, so that's a bit of a shame. But in general, it's still a pretty nice feature to just easily multitask. So highly recommend utilizing this. This is actually one of the things that on my device I use the most. So anyway, that about sums up the video. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.